Former President Donald Trump is lashing out at a New York Attorney General Letitia James, following her office releasing an extensive statement of facts in the case involving fraud with the Trump organization. So now numerous allegations are cited with supplemental documents from the Attorney General. In one case, Trump was quoted falsely inflating the size of his penthouse by about 3 times. Another case revealed Trump tried to get appraisers to grossly exaggerate the value of one of his Georgia mansions in Seven Springs. Now, Ivanka Trump was also noted, as well as causing misleading financial statements to be submitted, and her brother Eric was questioned for about 6 hours, answering over 500 questions by using the Fifth Amendment. So now, through the Trump Organization spokesperson, the ex-president released a statement that went after James personally, and I'm going to read it. Quote, "The only one misleading the public is Letitia James. She defrauded New Yorkers by basing her entire candidacy on a promise to get Trump at all costs without having seen a shred of evidence and in violation of every conceivable ethical rule." All right, let me stop there for a second. Is it true that she ran her campaign and one of her campaign promises was to prosecute Donald Trump? Yes, that's true. Because she thinks and has evidence to believe that he is engaged in some shady criminal dealings. So wait, how did she defraud New Yorkers when they voted for her, partly based, and I'm just guessing on that part, but partly based on, oh, you're going to try to hold Trump accountable. Great, wonderful. Yes, we're absolutely going to vote for her. But here's the thing, right? Shred of evidence, she has the evidence. Okay, anyway, moving on. 3 years later, she is now faced with the stark reality that she has no case. So, in response to Trump suing her and filing multiple ethical complaints, and on the heels of her failed governor's race, of course they need to mention that, she has no choice but to mislead the public yet again by misrepresenting the facts and ignoring her own inflammatory comments. Her allegations are baseless and will be vigorously defended. Now, in his statement, you're going to notice, obviously, that there's no actual challenges to the allegations at all. So, I mean, what a big surprise, right? Big surprise. Now, the substance, right? They do have documents. Yes, they showed that he way overvalued his properties on purpose in order to get access to bank loans and, defraud investors, essentially. And so Trump claimed that Seven Springs was worth $291 million, when in reality, it was valued around the same time of about $56 million. Oh no, it's got a bunch of mansions that haven't been built yet, but they're going to be built eventually. And so we're already saying that it's worth that much without the mansions being there. Right. Sure. Okay. So now, again, this goes along with inflating property values in order to get, again, bank loans, and then later on deflating the values of his properties and holdings in order to pay less in taxes. And so that's where the fraud comes in, right? Very, very clear evidence of fraud. We have the financial documents. So now, what happened here? What's the response here, I should say? Well, personal attacks. Just personal attacks. The same kind of tactic that Trump and his children have used against pretty much everyone who's challenged their corruption. And you can't say that it's not corruption. Now, of course, MAGA comes back and says, no, that's very, very smart. Robbing people, wonderful. Yeah, robbing people, investors, that's how you be a good businessman. It's very, very smart, very intelligent. Loot a store, though, then you're a criminal and you're a thug. But you rob investors and you rob people on Wall Street, well then, of course, you're a very smart politician. Very smart person. Tremendous businessman. Right. Double standard. Nice one. Nice. So now, Trump isn't the only one that responded. Eric Trump as well lashed out, telling Letitia James that his family is prosecuting her. What? Now, the Trump Organization has filed a countersuit. That's not the same as prosecution. Okay, all right. Again, legally impossible for him to do, but wonderful, wonderful. Now, another example. When students from the defunct Trump University sued for fraud, then candidate Trump called Judge Gonzalo Curiel a quote-unquote hater of Trump and a very hostile person who had railroaded him. Now, that entire lawsuit was over a fake university. Again, literally a fake university, not accredited at all. Not offered no degrees. What it did is that it sold seminars that were expensive. They also claim that students gave 98% favorable reviews to the program. But in order to graduate, Trump University employees had pressured the students to give them those favorable reviews and actually told them that they had to fill out those forms in order to get their graduation certificates. He also claimed that he had handpicked the Trump University instructors. Later on, he testified in 2012 that he had never selected instructors for the program. Look, the National Review, even the conservative National Review, took a look at this and wrote an article describing this as a massive scam, because that's absolutely what it was. Now, in another incident, Trump had also mocked Dr. Christine Blasey Ford for not remembering details about the night of her alleged assault 36 years ago in front of a Mississippi campaign rally. You remember Brett Kavanaugh. Hey, I like beer. I drink beer. I like beer. I had some beer. And then, I don't remember doing rape, though. That guy. Like, rapist on the Supreme Court. Wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. So that's what we have. And he mocked this woman, this survivor, over her story. So this is what they do. This is what they do. They lob insults back and forth at people for trying to disrupt their scams, calling out their scams. So it's incredibly juvenile. Now, the one thing that I can gather from this is the fact that they have absolutely no defense. They know they're criminals, and they're just using deflection, which unfortunately, MAGA eats it up. And hopefully nobody else does, because that's their only defense is going on the attack. And, I hope it doesn't work. I hope the Trump family finally faces some accountability for the scams that they've been running over these years.